There are a series of great, powerful monsters on the horizon in 2021. Everyone on the planet will encounter one or more of them at some point of time. Who is the herald of these creatures? Hard to say, but don't blame this year's namesake, the white metal ox, for any of it. He's here to be a constant, honorable companion and offer guidance to those who need it and, more importantly, to those who will listen. It's going to be an interesting year for all of the signs. You know that common misconception that the Chinese consider the blessing "may you live in interesting times" to be a curse? That's right, a misconception. Interesting can mean terrible, but no matter what, it means an opportunity, whether that's in learning, growth, or just productive change. So think of 2021 as an interesting year with visits from several monsters bringing all sorts of chaos. January usually ushers in change for humanity, but for some zodiac signs, it is going to be especially acute. Change in 2021 is going to take the form of a great chaotic force, not unlike a tsunami or tidal wave. It can also take the shape of an earthquake, moving tectonic plates around. That's a lot of weather and geographic metaphors, but they're very apt. This coming year is like a great nodal point in the universe where its foundations need to shake, move, and change. The skies are doing a spring cleaning and you're in the perfect position to find some great deals with what they're throwing out. Dog and dragon in particular are going to be riding these waves with a great deal of skill, offering inspiration to all those around them. There's a lot of activity in February for such a short month. It's as if the universe is making up for a lost time, making every animal do double duty getting their tasks for the cosmos done. Rat in particular is going to be running ragged, carrying cargo all over. Every sign should keep an eye out for him and see if they can offer any help. Everyone will be facing a range of challenges at this time. This is going to be especially the case in areas of finance and wealth. All of the signs will struggle a bit financially, but especially pig and monkey. This ebb will be immediately followed by some relative flow, so take comfort in knowing that these issues are finite. Strange forces will appear in March for goat, dragon, and snake, causing seemingly random waves of chaos to shake things up in the status quo. This is not necessarily a bad thing, though. The universe considers these forces to be opportunities for change. And who are we to disagree with the universe? Change is good and full of growth for those who experience it. Unfortunately, it can also bring fear, panic, and anxiety. Everyone should do what they can to avoid this and help assuage it in others around them. That change also brings an increase of the life force, the qi, into the world. How can it work for you? No matter what your animal is, the qi flows through all of us, although some signs will have an easier time managing it as it starts to overwhelm. This makes March a good time to assess what's going on around you and harness that chaos toward your own ends. When the world around you is panicked and running around aimlessly, keep a level head, and observe your surroundings. Then put yourself in a position to pick up the pieces and reassemble them into a life that makes sense to you. Romantic relationships will go through their usual ups and downs over the course of 2021. But what's different is the ways in which they'll ebb and flow. Rather than just be alternating lovers' spats and reconciliations, this year we'll see ups and downs in unusual parameters in relationships. How do we mean? Couples around the world are going to feel stress in areas that don't usually in their relationships, but also take great joy in aspects they hadn't thought of previously. There's a complex pattern of oscillating ups and downs across all the animals. For example, goat, dog, and dragon will start the year with a biorhythmic climb in January that will peak around March, start sloping down until it hits a nadir in July, immediately ramp up in August, and down in September while slowly rising through the rest of the year. That sort of roller coaster pattern is typical for the love lives of all the signs. As you can imagine, that adds its own stress. Trust that the universe will work itself out and that in stormy seas in a relationship will settle down soon enough. Creative energies will flow in interesting, unexpected ways all year long, but with a particular concentration in May. Has there been a sort of creative blockage in your life that's frustrated you on a number of levels? Maybe there's been that feeling like, if only this day job wasn't in the way, you could do that passion project that's been sitting in your head for years. Maybe you've been getting very envious of all the Instagram posts by people who spend their days making music tracks, or designing clothes, or sitting in coffee shops writing. Well, first off, don't trust what you see on social media, but also, Maybe that envy is telling you something. All of the signs will be hitting creative peaks at various points this year. Tiger, monkey, and goat early in the year, rat, ox, and rooster much later, for example. Basically, this means that at any point in time this year, there's a would-be artist waiting to burst out. That's a lot of creative volition eager to explode. 2021 is a great year for you to find that outlet in whatever form it may take and release those energies. Do not let that expression go unrealized. Luckily, there's a brief respite for most signs in the summer, spread out over different periods. You wouldn't want them all going on vacation at the same time, would you? Some of the animals will even treat this time as an autumnal period of reflection. Yes, sitting and navel-gazing in the heat of summer, but doing so at an unexpected time, for it can yield fantastic results. If you haven't noticed, this whole year has been about switching up patterns and not doing the expected things at certain times. That ox is a trickster, and this reeks of his handiwork. Allow yourself to go with these new patterns of behavior. Remember, ride the chaos. Autumn is usually a melancholy month, but the various signs will be channeling that pensiveness into a number of different avenues. Horse and rabbit will be using the time for self-reflection and future planning, but other signs will treat this as a sort of second spring, another moment of renewal in nature. Because why should all the fecundity happen in April? It only makes sense that the universe would spread that experience across the entire year, creating blossoms every day. That's the universe's plan: spread out the peak time for blooming across the year. And those blossoms could be new love or a child, but they may also refer to great financial fortune, thriving at work, or just someone having an incredibly good day. And rather than just wrapping up December with some quiet reflection, everyone is going to be hitting the finish line of 2021 in their own special way. Yes, some will curl up by the fire basking in the glories of the year. But for others, December will be a time for final exams before they progress to next year. Some will just be doing the work for 2022, Western calendars be damned. No matter what the sign, everyone will be getting a bit of a break from the universe. No horrible trials or tribulations to contend with. No need to grit our teeth in collective angst. This is our holiday gift from the cosmos. Do the work you need to do and no other forces will bother you. How nice. Make sure you write the cosmos a thank you note. Those monsters of 2021 will be casting their shadows over everything this year, but it's worth remembering the lesson of Monsters Incorporated: not all of them are bad. But even the most benevolent of monsters can make a mess. Godzilla was good, but he still ended up destroying big parts of Tokyo. These monsters mostly mean you no harm, but they're still going to leave a bit of destruction in their wakes. So rather than get mad at them or curse the universe, all we can do is learn to ride the waves of that chaos and make do with what we have. With the white metal ox by our sides, everyone is in a good position to improvise, roll with the punches, and come out in 2022 running. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. It's been a long life of looking out for number one, rat. That's been your modus operandi for a long time now, and it's served you well. The universe is shifting in some new directions in 2021, and that's going to mean big changes for you. Think of it as a shifting of great celestial tectonic plates, crossing over each other, and ripping up the terrain for miles beyond. These changes are going to affect all of the signs, but you, rat, will be especially moved by this. It's like your home is going to be riding a cosmic wave for a while before it settles into its new spot. You've been taking care of yourself well for a while, but starting in 2021 you're going to be caring for a much bigger pool than just you. That's right, rat. You're going to find yourself with, in some form or another, a family. Read on. You have a great friend in the sky who only comes around once in a while. That's your buddy, the white metal ox. It's his year in 2021, so that means he's going to want to be properly fated. Don't worry, you don't have to make him a cake. But what you should do is prepare a gift for him at the beginning of the year. In fact, we want you to dedicate yourself in January to his honor. How will you do that? Simple. By opening yourself to the universe and taking in any suggestion it gives you. That great ox wants you to say yes to everything that comes your way. This is all within reason, of course. If someone says jump off a bridge, please let your renowned rat survival skills kick in and refuse. But for things that are benevolent offerings, especially if they're things you'd ordinarily turn away from, you're going to spend January saying yes to them, rat. And after a year of saying yes to things, you're going to find yourself with a very full plate in February. This is perfectly fine. You're going to be cramming 6 months of activity into the shortest month of the year. You'll get through it by recognizing that, yes, there's a lot to do, but it's finite and it will reach its end by the 28th. This too shall pass, rat. Take every opportunity that comes your way that sounds even the slightest bit interesting. Invited to a party being thrown by someone you don't know? Great, get there a little late. There's a work-related presentation that doesn't involve your job but sounds kind of cool? Do it and take notes. You're going to explore all of those sub-avenues that you wouldn't have explored on your own initiative and see where they take you. Keep a running tally of what aspects are interesting and what you can do without. This is going to shape a lot of the rest of your year. Have you ever slept on a houseboat, rat? If you have, you'll know what we're about to describe. If not, let's lay it out for you. Just imagine a comfortable but small houseboat, really a shed on a platform. You have a small kitchen, chair, plenty to read, and a small TV. There's a comfortable bed that you sleep on, and when you do, the water gently rocks you, never aggressively. In fact, you get very accustomed to the rocking and are constantly comforted by it. You feel oddly off when you get on dry land because you've gotten used to it. That's you moving with the ebb and flow with the water and becoming one with it. It's a normal way to adapt to both your physical and mental situation so your body changes. That is the state of mind you're going to want to adopt going into spring. You're going to fully immerse, but not submerge, yourself with the flow of what's around you, swaying with the ground as it moves slowly and steadily. This is how you'll adapt to the changes in the world around you. It may sound easy, but we'll bet no one nearby is adapting in the same way. They're all running around like their hair is on fire. Not you, rat. Feel the ebb and flow of the world's changes and take that as your new grounding. Think of it in terms of the peaceful rocking of a houseboat. The world is on moving water, but rather than think it's going to overwhelm you, it's going to gently rock you to a peaceful state. And from that state, you'll be in a good position to move, live, and take whatever comes your way. Always remember the houseboat. But what about that family we mentioned earlier, the one that you discover over the course of this year? Don't think we've forgotten about that, rat. It's just that they aren't going to appear in your life in a straightforward manner. By the time you've hit the middle of the year, round about mid-June or so, you're going to have acquired a number of new or newish people in your orbit. These might be friends of friends that you've met in normal social interactions. Or maybe your job has involved connecting with some people you don't ordinarily mesh with. Maybe there have just been enough people dealing with the tumult of the universe alongside you and you've all reached out to each other. By the middle of the year, you're going to find yourself with a ragtag pack of kindred souls behind you, waiting for your guidance. They may not say this explicitly, but it's very clear to you that that's what they need. As you guessed it, rat. This is your family. If you already have a stable family unit, think of this group as family prime. They're eager for your help, comfort, and guidance in the months to come. If you had known this had been going on, you would have freaked out by early April. But guess what? You've been acting as a de facto parent this whole time and have done a great job at it. So stay the course for the rest of the year and you'll be fine. There will be some stress with this roll around the end of August coming from some of your newfound brood. Trust that the answers you come up with are the right ones and that you're doing your job well. You really can't screw anyone up. Remember, they're looking to you to lead and parent, and that allows for some wiggle room with regards to making mistakes. It's okay. Trust your judgment. By the time September comes around, your newfound family will have bonded internally in such a way that you'd never know this group didn't know each other a year ago. Take a moment at this time to gaze upon that family like a proud patriarch, looking over his children and children's children. You'll have done well, rat, and you deserve the moment of pride. By the end of the year, you're going to find that that new family will have done you wonders. It's exhausting looking out for number one all of the time with no one else to shoulder the burden. So what do you know? Having others around to take care of doesn't just mean extra work for you, and it can be that. It also means you can shift a bit of that load and lighten your baggage some. By early November, there will be some serious baggage that you'll be wanting to shift somewhere. You might not be comfortable with the idea of doing it, but trust in the universe and your family that it's a good idea. This could be something concrete like a task you've been dreading or some serious emotional baggage you've been carrying around for a long time. It is more than okay for you to trouble someone else with it at this time. We guarantee the people around you will be honored to have the opportunity to help you out in your time of need. Let them shoulder it and let yourself learn, heal, and just get better. This turmoil should end by the beginning of December, but watch out for the repercussions from it. And if they do arise, rely on your family once more. That family you found, or that found you, has given you the gravity you've needed in 2021, rat. And it's a good thing you all found each other when you did, because without them 2022 would be near impossible to navigate without disaster. You've been a solo act for a long time, and while you've no doubt enjoyed that, the benefits of having other people on the bill with you far outstretch any weaknesses. Take comfort in this group around you. You've discovered that you can be a great solo rat that's still connected to a better colony. There's nothing wrong with caring about things more than yourself. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. We're guessing that people haven't paid much attention to the creative side of you before, Ox. Or if they have, they've gotten it wrong somehow. They've seen you and your work in one way when you've meant it in a very different one. Or they've just assumed there's nothing creative about you, all brute force and no poetry and daffodils. 2021 is when that's going to start to change for you. Why? Well, it doesn't hurt that it's the year of the white metal ox for one thing. Your namesake is leading the celestial charge, and that means a great disruption in all the psychic energies of the universe. You're going to ride that wave toward great cosmic creativity in all sorts of areas. And January is exactly when you're going to seek out those artistic avenues that you've never considered before. Even if you currently have a great artistic passion, you're going to look further afield for something that you might not expect. Don't think you need to limit yourself to painting, music, or drama, although there's nothing wrong with running with one of those. You might find that you are a master of the art of Facebook post writing, or you're the mistress of sack lunch packing. The point is, open your eyes to see where you excel and follow that path. This soul searching is going to be a big part of January going into February, and the fruits of this will shape your actions for the rest of the year and beyond. Love. In all its forms, it gets severely tested by the winter months. No matter what climate you inhabit, it can be brutal and your personal connections crucial. February is the perfect time to improve your connections with your loved ones, near or far. There are probably one or two people you can think of that symbolize long-distance connections to you. Maybe they're people that you grew apart from, or maybe there was a rift of some sort. Or maybe real life just got in the way and, next thing you know, 10 years have passed. It's very easy to have happened, but also very easy to do something about it. Whoever is the first person you think of in this category, the person you feel some pangs about having lost touch with, you're going to put some effort into finding them and making the first move. Yes, we know it feels awkward as hell, but guess what? That person you're contacting doesn't think it's awkward in the slightest. They'll think no less of you for having bridged the gap. This is exactly the sort of mending you need to do in February. The ramifications it will have for the rest of your personal relationships is huge. Spring is bringing with it all sorts of surprises for you, Ox. Most interestingly will be what it does for you financially. There are great treasures available for you at this time, but you're either going to have to hunt for them or they will find you. Sounds easy, right? But it's the treasures you're hunting for that are going to be much more rewarding in the long run. Nothing wrong with fleeting treasure, but if you have a choice between that and something that's going to pay off dividends for a long time, go for the latter when you can. So what forms will all of these treasures take? They will vary widely. Yes, there will be bits of money coming your way, but nothing huge and yacht buying in level. These are going to be nice amounts of money, and really, is there any other kind? That will make your week just a little bit sweeter and easier. Enjoy these for what they are, Ox, and don't bemoan that they're not more money. The other treasures will be more personal and intangible. You might be discovering some items belonging to your family, friends, or other loved ones. These will be previously unknown to you but will become newfound treasures. You could also come across a previously undiscovered delight near your home. This one is a little more cryptic, so we'll try to elaborate. Have you ever ducked down a side street you don't usually go down and found a delightful cafe or restaurant that you can't believe you've missed before? You know the kind. It'll have a pleasant set of outdoor seating, a quaint interior, and a menu that just makes you feel warm inside. It's the sort of place where you just want to curl up and stay for ages, watching the rain fall on the windows. We're not saying you're going to find that restaurant hidden in the block next to your house. But you're going to find something comparable to it near your home. Take some walks around and keep your eyes open. It's there for you to discover. Beginning in the mid-summertime, you're going to have some interesting developments on the job front. This is going to be a complex journey that will last through the middle of autumn, so buckle up, Ox. If you are currently employed, your job is going to go through the ringer. It's possible the company you work for is going through a merger or some other transformative process that has great repercussions for its employees. You see, people aren't the only ones who go through great, chaotic changes. Even organizations do, and when they do, great things often emerge from the wreckage. This is an important thing for you to pay attention to, Ox. Look at what emerges when larger systems collapse. In fact, look at what happens when any system collapses. This doesn't have to be on the scale of nations or major corporations. Look what happens when a couple breaks up. There's a ripple effect that cascades through everyone that they have a connection to, but it's not entirely a negative thing. That's the force you're going to look for at your job, the energy that pulses out from any big changes at your company. Maybe someone leaves, someone new comes in, even someone decides to move where the coffee maker sits and you have to take a new route to get to it. All of these things have an effect and you're going to keep your eyes open for it. And if you're not currently working, those changing energies are going to pay off for you big time, Ox. While everything around you is shaking to its foundations, you're going to be a bit mercenary and see where you can insert yourself. You know what your spirit animal is going to be, Ox? And yes, we recognize that you're already a spirit animal. It's the vine. And yes, we recognize that that's not an animal. The vine works its way into any crevice or cracks it can find, growing and twisting to survive. It's not a parasite and is in fact, quite beautiful. That's who you're going to be in the job market for the second half of 2021. You're going to be a gorgeous creature working its way through the financial wreckage around you. See a business starting to fold? Make contact with the owners to talk about whatever their next plans are. Mass firings happening in your area? Talk to those who are being laid off and work together as a group. Businesses moving to another town? Check out what's happening with the spaces they vacated. You're not mercenary in the sense of taking advantage of those who have lost something. But you are making yourself available in those times and places where sudden, drastic change has occurred. As you wind down the year, Ox, look back at the solutions you've arrived at when the world throws obstacles in your way. We'll bet you'll see a lot of creativity in those answers you've come up with. That creativity has worked its way into everything you'll do in 2021, whether it's an actual art project or the ways in which you pay the bills. Take notice of that mode of thinking. It's going to be a useful one for you to utilize in the years to come, another tool for the tool belt. You might not have thought of yourself as an artist before, but there's no ignoring that power now. In the last week of December, consider what your next medium will be. You're a poet and you're finally starting to know it, Ox. 2021 is the year in which you finally acknowledge the side of your brain that flows a little freer and thinks outside of the box. Best of all, the world around you is starting to recognize that as well. That's going to mean some changes in your life as it starts to steer in a different direction. That new direction is going to take you to some interesting places in the next few years. Everyone in the cosmos is very eager to see what you come up with. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. The year of the white metal ox is going to bring an interesting set of challenges to you in 2021, Tiger. You're used to being the fierce warrior, taking control of any situation that comes your way. That has served you well in the past. Now you're going to assume a new role, Tiger, as a student. That's right, you need to start the year by getting your trapper keeper and some new pencils. Make sure you know your locker combination and find your homeroom. Being a student doesn't have to mean being a subservient pupil, forever sitting in ignorance. The hallmark of a great student is acknowledging when they don't know something, then taking the initiative to address that gap. This sums you up very well, Tiger. You've never had a problem addressing your weaknesses and trying to make them better. Well, that's what you're going to be doing all through this year. Luckily, you have a very good tutor to help you out through this whole journey. That tutor is the Ox, and as it's his year in 2021, you're going to get his assistance at a great discount. Open your books, please. January is going to bring some tumult with your romantic life in a way you haven't seen before. Whether you're currently in a relationship or not, you're going to be venturing into some new territory, Tiger, and you need to be ready for it. If you've been on shaky ground for a while, this might be the make or break moment your relationship has been heading towards. Prepare for some growing pains with this, but it's good for you in the long run. And if you're not currently in a relationship, keep your eyes open for some possible partners floating into range. Be also prepared for more relationship conflict than you've experienced ever before. Luckily, February should be a great deal calmer, although a lot of your stress will focus on your job more than anything else. It's going to be a tense time in your workplace and everyone is going to feel like your enemy. This isn't necessarily the case, but do watch your back at all times. People around you are going to be wrestling with their own insecurities and problems, and their stress is going to result in your stress. What can you do about this? First and foremost, remember that everyone around you has their own stuff going on. As best as you can, don't take any of it personally. Let that stress roll over off your orange, stripy back like a sunbeam. Then, once you've put all that stress in its proper perspective, see what you can do to help alleviate some of that stress in others. You're going to use the first rule of recovery here, though. What's that rule? Recognize what you can and can't change. See where other people's problems are completely out of your domain and where you can do some good for people. You're not going to be meddling. You're going to find the people around you who very much need help and are thankful that you're offering to provide it. Spring is going to bring a number of interesting tasks for you to accomplish, Tiger. These are very much going to be errands that the universe wants you to take care of because it's too busy dealing with other matters. What's in it for you, you might ask? For that, we'd like you to think back to a time when you were much younger. In particular, think about a subject in school when you were younger that came fairly easy to you. It doesn't matter which one it is. Just think about getting a homework assignment that came incredibly easy to you. Remember the sense of joy and pride you would feel when doing that work? Remember how completely safe in the world you felt with that task? The world was requiring nothing else from you and the parameters to meet were crystal clear. There's a beautiful satisfaction in that feeling, in knowing that the skills you have are good enough to get done what you need done. That's the feeling you're going to want to carry with you, Tiger, as you're faced with the universe's tasks and errands. You're not going to overextend yourself, nor are you going to be faced with tedious chores. You're going to be required to do exactly what you can do, and it's going to bring you immense satisfaction. So what form will this take? These could very well be work-specific things you need to do, stuff at your job that you can do with ease. It's also very likely that your friends and family will have very specific needs that need to be addressed, and they're well within your wheelhouse. Keep your eyes and ears open for someone to make requests of you that seem very easy, but are in fact very specific to you. In other words, they're easy for you but not everyone else. Relish that experience, Tiger. There's nothing wrong with taking the easy way out if it's your easy way and it helps someone else. May is the cruelest month for many, but not for you, Tiger. In fact, it's going to be effortlessly gentle, if not downright benevolent. This is probably going to be your biorhythmic peak for 2021, so if there's ever a moment to make a big decision or pull the trigger on something you've been dragging your heels on, May is the time. There's a great celestial arc across the sky shining on you during this time. Are there some concerns on your mind regarding personal relationships that have lingered for a while? A tough conversation that you've been putting off? Guess what? That first week of May is exactly the time it needs to happen. Don't be daunted by this. The universe has got your back. You know that feeling when you finally finish up a long, grueling project that has been a burden to you for ages? It could be school, work, or home related. It's given you a tension headache for weeks and made you cramp up your shoulders. It's the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning and the thing you have to give up on at the end of the day. Everyone has experienced this at least once in their lives. Sometime in June or July is when you're going to have a burden of this scale release off of your back, giving you a tremendous sense of relief. This could be work-related or some sort of obligation you committed to some time back when it made sense to do so and you thought it would be manageable. Life got ahead of you and the universe got a little crazy. It happens, Tiger. What's important is that you're going to feel wonderful freedom when this is wrapped up. Your jaw will unclench, your back will straighten, and your head will clear. Whatever form it takes, make sure you relish your freedom immediately. Take a walk around the block, get some ice cream, sit, and watch the sunrise. Hold on to this feeling to remind you that you can do anything and you can get through whatever is thrown at you. That's a good thing to remember for the coming year. You'd think December would bring final exams for you, Tiger, in keeping with the student metaphor. But in fact, you're going to be working on something else. Think of this month as the time for student and teacher evaluations. This is going to be the time where you'll assess how you've done over the course of this year, but you'll take stock of what the universe has done for you, and to you. This is time for you to count your blessings, certainly, but also to assess where you keep hitting brick walls and figure out what you need to do. It's okay to come to the conclusion that the universe is fighting you on some things because that's exactly what's happening. Learn to sort out what's your responsibility and what's just Mother Nature screwing with you. She means well with it. You're a grade A student in the universe's book. Like any student, Tiger, you're going to have an easy time with some subjects and struggle with others. That's just part of the learning process. In fact, the ability to comfortably fail and recover is what demonstrates a strong learner. You have the capability to become that learner in 2021, provided you keep your ears open and be willing to fall from time to time. And of course, you'll need to immediately pick yourself up and keep going. You're on the road towards earning a very important degree, one that can assure you a bright and lucrative future. So make sure you keep studying and don't forget to go to the homecoming game. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. You've got to be crazy to think you're going to get everything done that you want to, Rabbit. Even with a full year ahead of you, you no doubt have a to-do list that stretches around the block. That's just part of your nature and the way you do things. No one would dare try to change that. And in 2021 you are going to try and tackle that list, but there's a key difference to your approach this year. You're going to accept the fact that you can't have everything. We're guessing that's going to be a hard pill for you to swallow, Rabbit. This is going to be the crux of the biggest challenge you'll be facing this year. There's a celestial creature who is keeping an extra special eye on you this year. That would be the white metal ox, which makes sense as it's his year in 2021. That star-spanning beast has got extra special plans for you, Rabbit, and all of them involve a lot of change in the ways in which you've been doing things. This is a great opportunity for you to grow, mature, and explore new ways of doing the things you love to do, all under the watchful guidance of the great beast of the stars. Knowing you, you've probably created a hefty New Year's resolution list in December. It's ambitious in scope and will no doubt transform you into an entirely different, better human being. Well, we have some terrible news for you, Rabbit. That list, while ambitious and coming from a good place, is not going to get done. Even if you didn't make a physical list, we're betting there's a mental one you've had to keep track of the millions of things that you'd like to change in your life. While you're not going to want to tear that list up, literally or figuratively, you're going to not white-knuckle it to your chest, either. There's a lot of good in your doing that. After all, there's nothing wrong with aspiring to be better. But there's a lot more good coming from accepting what you are and what you can accomplish realistically. That doesn't mean settling. That means recognizing where you are and where you're starting from so you can figure out where you want to get to next. That's the sign of real maturity. This is your first step of growth, Rabbit, so congratulations. That means February is going to be full of all sorts of good choices, what with this sudden influx of maturity you have. And this is the time you're going to put it all to the test. The year's shortest month is also when you're going to find yourself challenged in a way you haven't been before. This could be in any area of your life, romance, career, what have you. Something is going to test you around the middle of the month and you need to make sure you're ready to face it. What can you do to prepare? Keep your eyes and ears open, but more importantly, don't treat a challenge as something to avoid. Embrace the opportunity and lean into it. This is your time. The springtime is going to be an interesting period of transformation for you, Rabbit. The nature of that transformation, or even a sense that you've even changed, is going to be cryptic and obscure. By the point of comparison, we're going to point your attention to the now vanished world of the movie rental store. Did you ever go to the foreign films section? If it was a good store, it had a well-stocked area for these titles and had them organized by country of origin. If it was a really good store, it had some truly deep cuts and a number of films from countries that you might have considered having a motion picture industry. How many films does Luxembourg produce in a year? Every time you visit a section like that, you can't help but think of the depths of knowledge and experience that are out there that you haven't even touched. There are worlds upon worlds that you've never experienced. There are directors who have made dozens of films with casts of hundreds and you've never seen any of them. What does all this have to do with your transformations? There is more on heaven and earth than you've experienced, Rabbit. You need to open yourself to changing into something that's already supported in this world, but that is alien to you. It's confusing and probably mysterious, but there's a whole world out there waiting to support what you'll become. We know we're keeping this vague, but just remember this: be open to whatever you find you're most comfortable being. By June, you're going to run into some interesting confrontations in places you would least expect to find them. These won't be your standard spousal spats or even tiffs with good friends. Someone on the periphery of your social life is going to have a major bone to pick with you and be very vocal about it. It's going to shock you and everyone around. In this situation, like most situations, you're going to want to take the high ground, Rabbit. Do not fight eye for an eye, do not stoop to name-calling and bullying. As best as you can, listen to this person and what they have to say, no matter how crazed it may appear. This person wants to be heard and you're going to provide this. No doubt this will cast a shadow on all social interactions you have through the rest of the year. August is when you're really going to have to make some decisions about that to-do list of yours. In particular, you'll need to figure out if you're heading in the career direction that you'd really like to be in. This is the perfect time to ask yourself, is my dream job just a dream or something I would genuinely enjoy waking up in the morning and doing? Can I see myself sticking with this even on those days when it's getting boring? You need to shine the harsh, extreme light on that dream job of yours and answer those questions. And if the answers you come up with say that it's not for you, that's fine. Better you're learning that now rather than later. In fact, even better that you figure that out before the fall when you'll be learning a ton about your job. We'll just leave that thought open-ended like that for now. This has all sounded like a lot of work, so don't worry, the universe has some treats for you in September and October. Specifically, you're going to have some wonderful occurrences in your social and personal life during this time. You'll be on good terms with the people you already know and love, and everyone will be in good spirits for at least most of these 2 months. But it's the people you're going to meet during this time that especially deserve mention. You're going to have the chance to be introduced to someone you look up to greatly at this time. It might be a little extreme to say you'll meet a hero, but it'll certainly be someone that you didn't expect you'd have the opportunity to interact with. The meeting will go very well and you will stay in touch with this person, dare we say you'll even become friends. As you can imagine, this will give you a nice boost of confidence to finish off the year. That confidence will come in handy because you'll be meeting some other people a bit after that. These people will be associates or friends of friends, so on the periphery of your orbit. You're going to come into contact with this group and instantly feel a wave of warmth and welcoming. It's going to envelop you in such a way you'll wonder how you haven't been around these people before. Enjoy that feeling and trust in it. These are good people who are there for you and benefit from you just as much as you do from them. You'll all be making some plans together for early next year. By all means, make those plans and follow through on them. They are the force you need in your life moving forward. You might get through everything on your original to-do list, Rabbit, but you're going to find that you get everything done that you need to do, even if you didn't see those things in January. That process of learning who you really are is a major part of growing up, and you're going to do a lot of it in 2021. Enjoy that opportunity and look forward to the various directions it's going to take you in the years to come. You're a star, Rabbit. Now you're a much more mature one as well. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. You are the fiercest warrior in the sky, Dragon. You are the creature that everyone looks to fight the toughest battles and deal with the worst foes. We're sure you already know this. Here's where it'll get challenging. You're going to be fighting a series of very different battles across 2021. You are going to be in a very new frontier than you're used to, fighting foes that you've never encountered before on battlefields that will be very alien to you. That's right, a lot of those battles are going to be of the internal variety. This is going to be an interestingly challenging year for you, Dragon. We all look forward to seeing how you emerge from the other side. 2021 is the year of the white metal ox, and that means a lot of things for dragons. First off, you have a very capable companion with you through any battle you face this year. This is unique for you and an advantage that's worth taking. Secondly, the battles you're going to face are going to be unlike anything you've faced before. As we said, there's going to be a lot more happening for you internally, and that's going to take force and power in a different way. Follow this guide for making your way through the months, and it should be much more manageable. The beginning of the year is a good time for you to begin that reflection, if you haven't already, as part of your New Year's resolutions. Set aside some ample time in the beginning of January to see where you are and where you want to go. Are you happy with the current state of things, Dragon? Do you wish your life to be in a much different place? Is there anything you'd love to do this year to come? Is there anything you'd like gone from your life forever? This is the time to focus on these questions and come up with some possible answers to them. And whatever answers you come up with those questions, the real world is going to throw everything it can at you to distract you from dealing with them. That's okay, Dragon. It's nothing personal. It's just the nature of the universe to be dealing with its own stuff while you're trying to figure out yours. The beginning of February is going to be an especially distracting time from both people in your life and various circumstances. Don't blame the people. They love you and want to have part of you with them, which is perfectly understandable. You're lovable. As for the various circumstances, well, they're circumstances, so they're not deliberately screwing you up either. Notice a similarity between those two things? They're not being malicious. That's worth remembering if you're getting frustrated with the way things are going towards the beginning of the year. You might just as well get frustrated by the wind. Accept that these forces are not doing you harm, manage, and move on. Spring is going to send you some interesting messages, Dragon. To fully pay attention to them and pick up what they're putting down, we're going to ask you to look back a bit. Do you remember a particular springtime when you were younger that has lingered with you? Maybe it was from when you were a child, or maybe it hit you when you were a teenager. The sun seemed to burst out like it had been gone for years. The light hit the trees in such a way that was both brand new and nostalgic at the same time. Maybe you were falling in love for the first time, or one of the first times, and the world seemed to be supporting and amplifying those emotions just for you. What a magical time. That's a feeling we want you to hold on to, Dragon, as you enter spring. We want you to remember what it feels like to fall in love with the world when you're a kid like that. You may even be in love with someone in real life, but it's that particular feeling of being overwhelmed with good emotions like that you want to grab onto. You've lost touch with that part of yourself, with that naive sense of wonder. Spring is the perfect time for you to reclaim it and let it make some of your decisions for you. It's time for you to let your heart make the final call on a few things. Sick of your current job? What does that internal adolescent have to say about it? Need a change of location? Where can you go in the world that would reawaken that feeling? Listen to what that teenager has to say about it and at least consider their advice. You don't have to blindly follow what they say, but give it some airtime. And whatever advice that teenager gives you, it's going to cause a bit of a ripple among the people around you. Your friends and family certainly have your best interest at heart, but some of your choices are going to rub them the wrong way. There won't be any serious rifts or anything like that. But in the course of you getting back in touch with what's really important to you and what matters, some people who have thought of you one way are going to be confused and maybe irked that you are in fact different. August usually means change and renewal for most. It's the final, waning days of summer and the beginning of autumn, so everything gets just a little bit melancholy. For you, Dragon, it's going to be just a little bit different. This is going to be like your second spring, a period where everything is new and exciting and, yes, even a bit of love will be in the air. Or if not love per se, a strong case of like coming from some parties who had passed you over previously. You're going to be very visible in people's eyes and they're going to notice you in ways they hadn't previously. It's a bit like that cliched scene from movies where the nerdy girl takes off her glasses and lets her hair down, making everyone see how gorgeous she is. Maybe it won't be exactly like that, but you get the idea. You're going to come into your own at this time and really shine and be noticed, so bask in that and enjoy it. It's going to result in some connections you wouldn't have expected in your life. Hold on to these people. They're going to become very important to you in the months to come. That means you've got some odd challenges coming your way in September and early October. These are nothing terrible, but you'll want to be prepared for them. So we're going to ask you to think back a bit. When you were younger, was there ever a part of your neighborhood that you had an irrational fear of? There was nothing terrible there, no clown in a sewer grate or anything like that, but there was just a vibe that you couldn't quite shake off. That was a good bit of intuition you had then, Dragon. Turns out there are some locations that just have a bad bit of mojo to them. Anytime you can pick up on that, the better. Try to zero in on that feeling again if you can. Try to remember when you had your spidey sense tingling before and what that feels like. You're going to run into a situation around this time that's going to elicit a response in you just like that. Your warning bells will go off and you want to be ready to respond when they do. This might come from a person you encounter, a place you walk into, or just a smell in the air. When you get that chill, know that there's some danger ahead and prepare accordingly. We're not trying to alarm you, Dragon. But if you keep your wits about you, you will avoid a lot of trouble farther down the road. And once that has passed you by, the rest of your year should be smooth sailing with minimal stress. Count your blessings that you've avoided some terrible unpleasantness. 2021 is going to bring you to a number of difficult but fascinating battlefields, Dragon. It'll be the perfect time to perfect your fighting styles against a number of worthy foes. Even when a number of those battlefields are internal, there's glory and might in every victory. You're going to emerge from the year a little bit scarred but a lot stronger and smarter than you came into it. That's better than a chest full of medals and a wall full of trophies. Relish in your glories, warrior. Get through this year with minimal injuries and prepare yourself for the battles ahead. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. You've been quite the leader during 2020, Snake. You've practically been the captain of the good ship this previous year, steering it through rough seas to stable ports. Good on you, Captain. But every sea captain reaches a point where they have to hang up their hat for a bit and remain a landlubber. But that's the perfect time for a sea captain to reflect on their adventures, and that's exactly how you'll be spending at least the first part of 2021, Snake. You'll be in your fishing cabin, watching the waves from a safe distance. And of course, you'll be planning for your next long voyage. You might be the captain, but there's someone else who is the admiral through all of this. It's the white metal ox, and 2021 is his year. Does that mean you're going to be taking orders from him over the next 12 months? Not exactly, but you are going to listen to whatever stories from the sea he has to tell. This is a metaphor that's going to carry over through many areas in your life this year, listening to those with age and or experience tell their stories and, hopefully, learning a little something from them. You're surrounded by a lot of experience, even if you don't recognize it. It's time to reach out and learn from others in a way you haven't before. These could be parents or other loved ones, but it could also be work mentors, former teachers, or even people you know your own age who have been through experiences you have yet to encounter. Think of it as a great storytelling network that you can call upon. Do so and soak in everything they have to impart, even if you know it's going to be a while before you can make use of their knowledge. Luckily, there's some financial magic happening for you in January and early February, Snake. You're looking at some sort of lucky windfall coming your way, but it isn't necessarily the lottery. Although were you thinking of playing the lottery in the first few months of 2021, we're not saying that 27 is a lucky number, but we're also not saying it's a lucky number. Keep it under your hat. There's some financial reward coming your way then that you have completely forgotten about, some kind of payment for work that you didn't think was ever going to happen. This won't be retirement money, but it'll be enough to make a day-to-day difference for you for a little bit. Use it and use it well. Fortune like that is worth spending because whatever you spend it on will carry its luck with it. So if you need to spend it on a household bill, do. In doing so, watch what this does to your day-to-day luck and managing your life and generally being an adult. But if you have the means to buy something fun that you've wanted for a while, oh honey, by all means, do it. March is going to be an interesting month for you, Snake. You're going to be presented with a very strange but attractive offer that's going to preoccupy you for most of the month. Sounds pretty vague, right? Unfortunately, the universe is not totally clear as to what form this will take. What is clear is that this is an unexpected opportunity that could shape your life for the next few years. The unexpected part is in the source. This could be a friend you haven't heard from in a number of years. Or a job recruiter reaching out to you from out of the blue. Or something even stranger that we can't begin to fathom. So how do you know what to look out for? You don't, unfortunately. Just keep your eyes and, more importantly, your mind open to what could be offered to you. But April is when the fun begins. Is there an artistic project that you've had in the back of your head for a while? Something that you've toyed with off and on but put aside because it didn't seem practical. And please note that when we say artistic, we mean this in the broadest sense of the word. This could be the great American novel that you've been putting off, but it could also mean that Etsy shop with your handmade bookmarks, or the finest Spotify playlist that anyone's ever seen, or a blog post that's going to change the way people think. You don't have to work on a huge scale. We're just talking about something that's been gnawing at you for a while. There is going to be a marvelous opportunity to give this some airtime in April. Look for a notification or posting of some kind in the first few days of the month. This will be a sort of call out to the world for exactly the work you've been wanting to do. You may have some doubts as to whether or not you're ready for this, but trust us, Snake, you are. Now is your time to shine. While May and June are usually a lover's time, they're going to have a special added flavor for you, Snake. There's a lot of potential romance in the air, but you're going to after some bigger fish. We're not talking about romantic ideals like soulmates or anything like that. You're going to encounter someone during this time that you have an especially strong bond with, but it won't be for marriage. That person will be sort of the ultimate platonic partner. They'll be the Emma Steele to your John Steve, look it up. There will be fantastic, rich chemistry between the two of you, there's no question of that. But more than that, it will be very clear that you two are partners in the platonic sense. If you two could be in a buddy cop movie, you could. That's the dynamic you'll find. But November is going to be an especially fun time. It's going to be an especially nostalgic moment for you, Snake. Thanksgivings from years past will come sweeping into your mental view as you have a film montage of very moments from your life. This is an emotionally poignant thing and one worth sitting in for a good long while. Let the crisp autumn air wrap around you. Bundle up and enjoy the fall leaves. Then get yourself indoors with your warming drink of choice, we're fans of brandy over here, and watch it all spin around out the window. Reflect on autumn's past and see how far you've come. The answer should be, quite a lot. It'll be good for you to have this moment of reflection before moving into the chaos of December and all that 2022 will bring. You need to gird yourself up for a lot more fighting and a lot more voyages. Sip that drink and take in your life. Well done, Snake. Now snap out of it and keep moving. All of your challenges will come to a head in December. Perfect timing, wrapping up the year, getting ready for 2022, and you're going to be required to do some final exam work by the universe. Don't panic. You are more than prepared for it. You've been studying for it all year by just being you, Snake. The test is on how to be you and it turns out you do it very well. But a test is a test, and you do want to be ready to perform at your peak abilities. You're going to be quizzed on a number of fronts in December and you need to be ready for it. Your love life will grill you a bit in the first week of the month, wanting to see if you're serious about your feelings and intentions. As always, honesty is the best policy here. Your job is going to test you by giving you a very large project to manage. All we ask of you here is that you do your best. And your health is going to be put to the test by all the stress and running yourself ragged you'll do in response to all the other testing. So remember to breathe and pace yourself. You've got this. There's a reason they don't schedule all the final exams in one day. Oh Captain, my Captain, you are an inspiration to us all in 2021, Snake. Your travels and challenges are going to inspire a range of people for years to come, even for things that you don't think warrant a story. You're slowly going to morph into that old sea captain, telling great tales from his past to anyone who would listen. You have been listening and that's meant you've grown and changed, all in good ways. Enjoy what the universe has brought you and prepare to enthrall your listeners for years to come. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. It's perfect for you that 2021 is the year of the white metal ox, horse. That's the universe sending one pack animal to recognize another in solidarity. Both of you have carried burdens for others for a long, long time and are respected for your service. But there comes a time when every pack animal needs to take a break. They need to go to the barn, eat their hay, and take the saddle off for a bit. We won't stretch this metaphor too much, horse, but we will say that this coming year is a period of taking a break followed by even more work than ever. Don't worry, though. It's all going to be leading to great things this year and for many years to come. January is when you're going to start seeing some sparks with your job. What do we mean by sparks? The gears are going to be grinding a little, causing friction and tension. These words often have a negative connotation, but they can also signify construction, change, growth, and progress. Change is in the air and you're going to be the first one to notice it and act upon it. This could take many forms. Certainly, economic woes are affecting everyone. Do you get the sense that your employer is struggling? January is the perfect time for them to cut dead weight. Are you in a position to be a crucial employee, when they wouldn't think of cutting? Even if things aren't dire in your workplace, change is in the air. Keep your ears open for what form those changes could take. You can be in a perfect position to take advantage of those changes and ride the waves of chaos that follow if, and we do emphasize if, you are paying attention. This doesn't just mean lingering by the water cooler. This also means looking for any patterns and behavior that seem new and out of the ordinary. This pattern of observation needs to continue into the next several months. You're going to be a low-key workplace spy for the first half of the year, horse. Get your trench coat and James Bonded up. But don't be secretive and sneaky when it comes to your health, horse. Especially in the bleak days of winter, you're going to want to keep close tabs on your body and how you're feeling. If you haven't already, make a doctor's appointment by the end of February to have a general checkup or for anything that's been concerning you. There's nothing dire on the horizon for you, but you're going to want to start to keep a closer eye on your physical state during this month and for the next several months. Look for some sort of bad bug to hit you in the middle of the month, right around the 14th. Don't be alarmed, but it's going to knock you out for a little bit. Follow the traditional advice and get your fluids, rest, and give yourself a bit of a break at this time. There's an interesting development that will be happening in your personal relationships in 2021, horse. It's going to be a little hard to describe, so we'll do so with some background. Do you remember a time when you first met the people who would later become your best friends? You might not have known it when you met them, but we're guessing you had a sense that these would be people that you would get along with well. People we become friends with later tend to make themselves known very quickly. Even without the benefit of hindsight, could you tell who was going to be a long-lasting friend when you met them? You're going to meet one, possibly two people in 2021 who are going to remain your friends for a long, long time. It's hard to see when in the year or in what context you'll meet them, but they are there as shining beacons in your life this year. So with no real guidance as to where they'll appear, your job this year, horse, is to keep looking and keep listening. But perhaps more important than that, you need to remember that sensation of what it feels like to meet your best friend. Whatever sort of spidey sense tingled for you back then is going to tingle for you now. Pay attention to that. This is a great exercise in general for you in paying attention to those signs your body gives you. Call it intuition or what have you. You've been ignoring those signs for years, no matter what area of your life they've been flashing in. No more, horse. Time to recognize the signals of the universe and follow their guidance. You won't be steered wrong. By March you're going to encounter some odd opposition from sources you wouldn't expect it from. These could be family members who had previously been very supportive of your endeavors. Or it could be friends who usually have your back, suddenly coming to you with some strong confrontations. Don't be too jostled by the opposition. The reasons for this happening are varied and have nothing to do with you, you just happen to be the person in the way. Roll with it as part of the human experience, horse. Treat it as something that you've done nothing to cause because that's very much the case. Don't antagonize this person, but hear what they have to say and move on. May is going to be an interesting time for you, horse. And don't worry, this isn't that interesting really means terrible form of interesting. This is going to be a period of genuinely compelling and fascinating phenomenon surrounding you. This could appear in any guise: a strange project at work, an odd person entering your life, an opportunity to travel somewhere compelling without being quite exotic. All you need to do during this time is remain open to possibilities and experiences. Say yes to just about anything, within reason, that comes your way. Which brings us to the summertime. For you, horse, this will mean a period of great fortune and possible wealth, if you act accordingly. What does that involve? More than anything, it means opening your mind up to wider possibilities to what wealth can mean. Can you think of a time when you were struggling but it wasn't dire? For example, if you've ever experienced college student poverty. You know, that level of not having money, but you also know that worse comes to worse, you have parents that will help you out so that you aren't completely destitute. It's the sort of poor that means you're scraping together coins from the couch to see if you can afford to go down the street and get a bagel and Coke. Then when you do get a little bit of money and you do get that bagel and Coke, they are going to taste like the greatest things you've eaten in your entire life. That's the sort of fortune you're going to experience during these months. It's not going to be anything that will get you retired to an island or anything like that, nor will it seem significant to anyone else around you. But it will give you that same poor college student thrill of feeling your life change, even on a tiny scale. When you experience that, we want you to sit with that feeling for a while. It's something that you need to carry with you for the rest of the year. And so your year closes with a wave of good fortune shining on you and your family. By the time the holidays come around, you're going to be tired from all the change and transformation you've gone through over the course of 2021. This is good, and this is exactly what your family needs to see. Think of it as your showcase time, or the final recital from your piano lessons. This is when you can demonstrate to the people who matter most how much you've been through and what you've become. They will no doubt have some feedback. Take it. They support you on your journeys and want what's best for you. The extra set of eyes on your progress can only be a good thing. Make it a point to check in with family around the 20th of November in particular. That's an important date. Your time on the farm has been valuable, horse. You've demonstrated for years that you're a needed service to keep everything working. Don't worry, we're not proposing it's time for you to be shot. 2021 has demonstrated how valuable you are, not just to you but to everyone around you. That's a great insight for everyone to see. Enjoy your periods of rest and reflection, but know that the work you do is valuable. And make sure you can take a moment to run free in the fields a bit. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. This is going to be an interesting time for you, Goat. Are you familiar with the movie Memento? If not, it concerns a character with amnesia trying to solve a crime. What's interesting is that the audience sees the whole story unfold backwards. No, you're not going to start 2021 in December. But you are going to feel a lot of déjà vu as you progress through the year. There will be a number of times in which you will feel like you're working backwards. This is okay, Goat. The year is going to provide you with some very interesting times and challenges, and you're going to emerge from them a very different mammal. You might remember your last year of the ox. You were just a babe then, goat, a kid? You were quite sure that you knew everything and had everything figured out. Looking back, I'm sure you can see how ridiculous that was. Now just think about how you're going to feel about yourself now for the next year of the ox. That's right, you're going to look as much of an idiot as you did back then. This is something you're going to want to keep in the forefront of your mind moving forward. You do not know everything you think you do. But we'll start at the beginning of the calendar year. January is going to bring a lot of change into your life right in the first week. Some of this change might be welcomed and some of it might cause you some initial stress. Trust that whatever is thrown at you is good for you and will bring you tremendous growth in the future. You're going to feel confused and chaotic through most of the year, so how you get through this initial period is a good preparation for you. Have you ever had a dream of living in a cabin in the woods? Maybe you don't think of a cabin per se in the traditional sense. It could be just some sort of remote house that's all yours, removed from the world at large. Knowing you, goat, it's probably a glass-heavy modernist masterpiece sitting in perfect balance with nature. Just imagine large, floor-to-ceiling windows looking out upon a lush, quiet forest. You'll sit inside with a cup of coffee in hand, no sound at all but all of Mother Nature to sit and watch. It's the epitome of peace and tranquility, utter solitude. That's the mindset you need to carry with you starting in March and all the way through the rest of the year. We don't just mean that you need to be relaxed. You need to have the calm that comes with sitting quietly in an unaffected setting. There's a particular alertness that comes with that environment where you can hear and see everything that happens. It's a hunter's relaxed state, and that's where you want to be, goat. Early May is going to be a unique time for you, goat. The stars will be shining right on you like a stage spotlight, giving you the focus for all the crowd to see. Don't fret, though. You don't have to do anything special except be you and do the things you do ordinarily. May is when you need to put on a special showcase of you and everything you bring to the table. What does that mean for you here on planet Earth? Bring your regular duties to the attention of your superiors at work. Show them that without you, the place would struggle. Let your friends see what your interests are and how important they are to you. Treat the month as your showcase month. It's the time to give a sort of state of the union of you and invite everyone. You have a lot to be proud of, and it's time it was recognized. Look for this to start paying off for you around the 28th of the month. June is going to be a weird one for you, we're not going to lie. Let's see if we can spell out what you have to look forward to then. You're going to have a run-in with a person who is going to have a huge impact on your life for the next couple of years. This could be someone that you've met before and haven't seen in a while. It could also be a vague acquaintance, someone whose name you've heard before, maybe they were a recommended Facebook friend. Whatever the circumstances, you're going to find this person fits in with your life with a sort of eerie accuracy. The two of you might share a common interest that has otherwise been a bit obscure. Or you might just be on the exact same sense of humor wavelength. Don't be startled by these synchronicities. Welcome this person as a new friend, although they might not be sticking around all that long, and enjoy the new bond you've found. They are most likely to make an appearance in your life around the 23rd or so keep your eyes open. Autumn. It's always been an especially nostalgic time for you, goat, more so than it is for other people. You've got this beacon inside of you that goes off anytime there's a potentially melancholy moment to be had in the world. No, we're not saying you're a mopey emo kid or anything like that. But you do respond well to holidays and milestones, instantly connecting to those times in your past that resonate strongly. Nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, this is the year we're going to want you to treat that quality of yours as a strength, something to hold on to, support, and be proud of. There are a lot of people around you who are out of touch with this part of themselves, and it's doing them some damage. You can serve as a sort of inspiration to them by expressing that nostalgia. Tell the people around you what this season makes you think of and feel. You're not going to bore them with old stories. You're just going to share a little part of yourself. And in doing so, you'll awake something in the people around you that will resonate with you as well. It's a chain reaction of strong, positive emotions, and it will be just what all of you need these days. If you have the opportunity to go to a particularly nostalgic location for you during this time, then do. This could be your hometown, your old school, a coffee shop you used to hang out in, whatever. Get there and soak up the emotions so that you can shoot them back to the people around you. November is going to be the most chaotic time for you this year, Goat. It'll be as if everything is reaching a fever pitch of madness and you're in the middle of it. Your job, family, friends, even finances are all going to go a little crazy during this time, and all requiring your full attention. Hang in there through this month. It's tough, but it's also finite. Sometimes the universe piles everything on at once just because there wasn't any room in the rest of the year. Remember to breathe and pace yourself and you'll be fine. Hey Goat, how do you eat an elephant? You do it one bite at a time, so do just that. Finally, by December you'll have come in, keeping with our metaphor, right at the beginning, ready to start the whole process again. If 2021 teaches you anything, Goat, it should be that time is a continual circle and that all of these patterns of behavior have existed before and will long after we're all gone. Heavy stuff, we know, but it's something worth remembering whenever you encounter something stressful that tests you. Anything you have ahead of you has happened before and will happen again many, many times. That's a good lesson for you to take with you in 2022. If anything, it should lessen the stress you feel as you continue to face many challenges. Even if your life doesn't feel like the ending came first, in some way it has. 2021 is going to drive this point home for you in ways you couldn't imagine before, or later. What's happened before was as prescribed as everything that is coming for you in the future, Goat. While there are aspects of your fate that are immutable, don't take that to mean you have no control or free will in the process. Perhaps your fate is in fact to exercise that free will and make the choices you want to. When you recognize patterns from the past making their appearance in your future, that's your fate trying to warn you to wise up. Be smart enough to listen to what it says. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. With the chaos of 2020 behind you, Monkey, you probably think 2021 is a time for rest and reflection. While that's certainly a component of the year ahead for you, that's not going to be your standard operating procedure. You're going to keep moving like a locomotive through the year, but remember that a train stops to pick people and cargo up, drop them off, speed through long stretches of track, and slows down around curves. That's a perfect metaphor for you, Monkey. You're a train making your way across the terrain of the year. Your first stop for the year is to pick up the white metal ox so he can travel with you in the caboose. We know we're stretching this train metaphor pretty far here. 2021 is his year, and that means everyone is going to be carrying a bit of an extra burden around with them for the year. This is especially the case for you, Monkey, as you have a particularly special bond with that pack animal. You both sit in very strategic positions in the cosmos and have a link that goes back in eternity. What does that mean for you in more concrete terms? It means you need to look back through your own history to find answers to current problems you're facing. Odds are good that everything you deal with nowadays has its roots and precedent in things that have happened before. You need to spend some time to see if you're repeating patterns in your life over and over again. You don't get a bonus if you guess the answer is yes, because most likely you are. So that's going to be a big part of your January, analyzing your past to look for repeating patterns. To continue with that train metaphor, you're looking to see if you've been traveling over this track before. And if so, what were the hazards you faced then? And more importantly, how do you get this train to jump to a different track? Even if your patterns haven't been completely bad, it might be time to jump to another rail and get yourself on a different path. It's time for changed behavior, Monkey. Do you know that saying about insane people doing the same thing and expecting different results? That's exactly what you're trying to avoid here, and trying to make it easier for you to do different things in the future. Spring is going to bring some interesting developments regarding money, fortune, and wealth. You might think those three terms are synonymous, but they don't have to be at all. And in your case, Monkey, they're going to be three very separate things. Here's a good way to distinguish between them. How do you think about money? We're guessing that you're the sort who checks their bank balance every single day to see if it's changed overnight with new interest rates. You like to deposit the rolled up coins you find into your savings just to see that very small amount of growth. The minute you get a check, you deposit it, making the most of your interest. We're not describing someone being a penny pincher, monkey. We're talking about someone who takes great pride in taking control of their finances, even if it's on the micro level. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's how the millionaires do it. You're not going to steal dimes from a child, but you are going to watch your spending. And you're going to continue on this path in 2021, and it will serve you very well. Your fortune, however, is something else. This gets into the territory of well-being and luck, and the spring and early summer are going to be a prime time for both of those things for you, monkey. A number of lucky waves are going to wash over you at this time, with their reaching a crest around late June. This can have many ramifications for you. Perhaps you'll avoid a potentially terrible accident. Perhaps you'll be just in the right place and the right time for some glorious fortune. And perhaps you'll just have a passing moment of realizing how lucky you are to be on this planet. No matter what form that takes, look to your lucky numbers to be 15 and 23. June is where things start getting really interesting for you, monkey. There will be some figures from your past that you haven't heard from in a very long time reappearing in your life. These might be people you haven't considered in a long, long time. Maybe they were acquaintances before, friends of friends. This is a new context for them, and they're coming to you after a lot of growth and change in their own lives. What that's going to do to you is force you to see how far, or not, you've come in your own life. But more interestingly, you're going to end up with some new friends who will be taking you on some interesting adventures this year going into next. These people are enough outside of your usual orbit that anywhere they bring you is going to feel alien and strange, but all in a fascinating and fun way. It's going to be a bit like the Muppets have picked you up on their bus and want to take you on adventures with them. That might sound odd and not your cup of tea, but go along with it. But July leads to the perfect time for a bit of quiet and introspection. We know the summertime is usually when you want to run around outside and frolic, but your polarity got a big switch this year, monkey, so you get the sunniest and hottest month for sitting and staring out the window. That's okay, though, because all that sunshine is going to aid your self-reflection and thinking about where you want to go next. Take the time to chart your progress over the year so far and be fully honest with yourself. You've done a lot, but this is the perfect time for a little course correction if it's needed. But also, get to the beach. And with autumn comes some nice treats for you, monkey. You're going to get some especially welcome recognition sometime during September and October. This could come from your workplace in the form of a small bonus or acknowledgement. This wouldn't be anything financially huge, but it would be enough to make you feel appreciated and special, and perhaps more importantly, make you special in the eyes of those in power. This recognition might also come from family members in a way that's not their usual way of doing things. It could be a gift, but more likely will take the form of some time that they've carved out for you. Maybe a meal or other outing. What's important is that they see you as special as you are, bringing important things to everyone. That gift will linger in their minds long past this year. There will be several examples of treats like that, some of which might not strike you as treats at first glance. Just enjoy them and trust in your deserving them, monkey, because you certainly do. And the time will come next year where you need to give similar treats to others. You're going to be exhausted by the time you hit December, monkey. And who could blame you? Your spiritual and emotional travels are going to be all over the place over 2021. Ordinarily, we'd advise you to take a load off, put your feet up, and rest at this time, but I'm afraid that's not going to be the case. While you definitely need to slow down a little bit this month, you're not going to come to a complete stop. Instead, you're going to treat this like the middle part of a marathon. Yes, we're aware this is advice for the end of the year, but you didn't think your life was just going to wrap up just because it's December 31st, did you? This is your middle stretch of a lot of activity, and you just need to lean into this fact and press on. You've come a long, long way and have a long, long way to go, but that's good and exactly what you need to be doing just now. The train keeps rolling, monkey, and you're the one running it. 2021 is the year in which it finally sinks in for you that you're the one who controls where it's going. You may have had an inkling of that before, but now it's for certain. Use this knowledge wisely as you progress through life. You have the opportunity to shape your destiny any way you see fit. You don't even have to follow a schedule with this train. How many conductors can say that? Get on board and get going where you want to go. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. There's going to be a lot of panic with the people around you in 2021, Rooster. Most of the time everyone will be panicking about small, silly things. What do all of those people need? They need you to act like a leader. No doubt this is something you're not accustomed to and maybe not your first choice. But 2021 is going to take you into some very unusual territory, Rooster, and by the time December comes, you're going to like the new realm in which you find yourself. 2021 is the year of the white metal ox. What does this mean for you, Rooster? The ox is a powerful beast. When he charges, everything in his path gets out of the way. This is a perfect role model for you for the year. No, you're not going to become extra rude and unnecessarily aggressive with people. But you are going to become much more assertive than you have been in the past, or in a way and in areas that you usually aren't. This is a magical time for you, Rooster. Let's dig in. The arena where you'll be stretching these muscles prominently will be in your job. There is a whole team of people there who would love for you to become their leader. Here's the question we're going to put to you: when you look at your boss, superior, leadership on the job in any form, what are the words you first think of? Are any of them strength? Command? Respect? If not, and we're guessing the answer is not, that's a vacuum that needs to be filled in your workplace. This doesn't require a power grab or a coup. Don't worry, Rooster, you're not going to perform a hostile takeover. But you are going to see what's involved for you to fill that gap, even if it's done quietly behind the scenes. You may find yourself being the quintessential silent leader, the one who is organizing everything, pulling people together, and, yes, doing a lot of the work to make sure everything gets done in the way that it needs to. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's being a leader, and that's something the people around you aren't going to forget about. Someone else, someone above you, is going to get the accolades and praise, but that's okay. You're going to emerge from these with the respect, admiration, and loyalty of the people around you. That's going to come in handy later this year, going into 2022. And what's a job for if not to build up your empire of wealth? Yes, personal fulfillment and growth are good to have as part of it, but in the end, it's about making that bank, as the kids say. They still say that, right? 2021 is going to be an interesting time for growing your money and overall value. In fact, that increase in wealth might not make itself known as a sudden increase in your bank account balance. This one might be a little tricky. You're going to discover assets that you didn't know you had. How will this work? Think of it a bit like finding a treasure chest in your backyard, but not one you have to dig 20 feet to find. This is a treasure chest that's been sitting in your garden all this time, covered in moss and weeds, and easy to ignore. You've probably tripped over it or used it as a stool all the time without thinking twice about it. That's the same idea with this hidden wealth you have in your life. There's something, either a concrete good or some sort of abstract skill, that you've had for a while, easily ignored. That thing is going to be a great source of wealth for you. It may not all pay off this year, but the process can start now and pay off incredible dividends over time. So what form will it take? Well, that's going to take some hunting on your part, Rooster. Is there a long-forgotten box of toys that's been languishing in your basement for decades? A secret case of old coins that you found in a wall a while ago? Or a secret skill that you've never found a good way to market? You're going to have to think far outside of the box for this one, Rooster, and see what you can come up with. You might hit a few dead ends along the way, but keep searching. But it's your love life that's going to cover all sorts of unusual territory this year. From January to December it's going to draw a complex arc, following exciting, sensual highs and depressing lows. Sound like fun? Well, see what you think once it's in progress. January is going to mean a lot of questions coming up in your relationships, if you're currently in a romantic relationship. These don't have to be earth-shaking, break-up or don't questions. You and your partner are going to be on the cusp of some serious decisions that need to be made. Are you wondering whether or not to have a child? Maybe there's been talk of taking things to the next step in your relationship? Or maybe the two of you just need to settle on what color to paint the kitchen. The point being, don't be frightened by a sudden set of seemingly serious questions. These are good things to have come up right now, and they're excellent opportunities for the two of you to grow and change in a healthy way. Yes, even if you're trying to pick between avocado and rust for the kitchen walls. If you're not currently in a relationship, February and March will start an interesting cycle for you. This is when you're going to have to make some relationship decisions on your own. Maybe you've been single for a while, maybe you've been in and out of some so-so relationships. This is the tipping point for you to decide how you want to proceed in the dating world. You're going to pivot in some sort of new direction at this point. Been going on a lot of no-pressure dates? Take yourself out of the pool for a bit. Had a run of serial monogamy? Set yourself up with a bunch of quick coffee dates. Or maybe even consider not seeing anyone for a bit. As much as it sounds like a cliché, this might be the time to start dating yourself. Assess where you are and what you've been doing, then decide if there's value in continuing on that path. As you progress into the spring and early summer, you're going to truly come into your own, Rooster. This is when your leadership feathers are really going to appear. Maybe it's that burst of spring sunshine that will do it, maybe it's just the way the stars shine on you, but your make or break moment happens here. There's some sort of long-standing confrontation that you've been putting off for a while that's going to come to a head at this point. This could be with a loved one, a boss, or even someone you don't know that represents a major conflict within you. You need to lean right into this fight. In fact, don't think of it as a fight. Think of it as finally having a painful tooth pulled. You're going to look at how it feels avoiding this conflict versus facing it and deciding which answer is going to make you feel better in the long run. We're putting money on you facing it. This isn't an excuse for you to run around picking fights or looking for conflict or anything like that, though. Rather, this is the time for you to try and level up via defeating a previously unvanquished foe. The last third of the year you need to consolidate all you've learned in the previous several months and form a plan for how you'd like to proceed into 2022. You've grown a lot during this period, Rooster, but it's much too easy to backslide if you're not careful. Move forward as a new bird with a new rank. You're a commanding officer now, Rooster, whether you like it or not. Take charge, believe in your orders, be willing to sacrifice, and trust in the decisions you make. Some of them might be wrong, but just own up to them and press on. Your crew is waiting for you to lead them into glory, and you're just the bird to do it. It's time to channel your inner Captain Kirk, Rooster, and be the leader the people around you need. Right now you may feel like you have no idea how to do that, but you know better than you think. Turn towards the hard fights and tough decisions and run full steam ahead. Be the captain they need. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. Who are some of the most famous dogs you think of in history? Rin Tin Tin? Snoopy? Man's best friend has played a crucial role in human life for millennia. Some would say that civilization wouldn't be where it is if it weren't for the noble canine. This legacy is something you're going to carry with you through 2021, dog, and it's going to shape your behavior and attitude moving forward. You're about to make even more history. The fact that it's the year of the white metal ox means that the connections to your canine ancestors are going to be speaking to you even louder than usual. It's an exceptionally dog-centric year, and the cosmos recognizes that. Don't think that means you'll have it easy this year, though. If anything, it means you're going to be challenged a little more than usual, but that great ox is going to be a fantastic guide for everything you need to get through. You've got help through all of this, dog. Make sure you take full advantage of it. January is going to be a time of great chaos across many different areas in your life. Relationships, jobs, money, and health are all going to feel a bit in flux and tumult. Don't be daunted by this, though. This is just par for the course and the universe's way of saying, let's shake things up and get you to a better place. Embrace that chaos for all the good it's going to bring you. In fact, revel in it. We want you to look at the world, seemingly, falling apart all around you and laugh. You're not going to mock the stress and angst of others, but you are going to let what seems like destruction roll over your back like water off of a duck. If it's possible to ride that chaos like a wave, you're going to want to bring your best surfboard. With February and early spring, there's something in particular we want you to have in your mind, dog. Has there ever been a vacation spot you've gone to that brought you such a wave of peace that you found it almost peacefully jarring in how relaxed it made you? Maybe it wasn't during a vacation, but it was some location that was so far removed from your day-to-day existence and the fight to earn a living. Think about walking along the dock of some harbor town in the cooler nights of summer. There's a light warm breeze. You can hear the sounds of gulls and boats. The lights and activity of the town are nearby but not too imposing. Do you have a spot similar to that in mind? That's the state of mind you're going to want to adopt going into spring. Dare we say, you're going to want a summer vacation state of mind. We don't mean to show up to your job in Hawaiian shirts and sunglasses. Seriously, don't do that. Even if you work at a surfing store. What you do want to do is remember that peaceful state of letting go and try to carry it over into everything you do. In essence, you're going to want to remember to relax, or at least hold on to the benefits of relaxing as much as you can. Don't think for a minute that it'll mean losing your edge or becoming less on guard. You can achieve a state of readiness while still keeping your heart rate low. This is your mission going into spring, dog. It's going to pay off for you greatly as you face more and bigger battles in the months to come. April will bring some interesting dimensions to your social, and possibly romantic, life. You're going to be in a great position to encounter some new people who overlap interests with you just enough so that you're comfortable but will be alien enough to make things odd and exotic. And where will you find these people? Glad you asked, dog. They're going to be wherever you are. Turns out the people that you thought you knew well are very, very different from what you ascribe to them. No, your friends aren't secretly space aliens in human suits. But some people around you have what you might call a very interesting secret life that has been invisible to you, until now. See, follow them to whatever they propose. They've got some very interesting ideas that we think you'll get a lot out of. You're in real need of a jolt to your social life, dog. These are the people who might just do the job. If they offer to make any plans with you in the third week of the month or so, beg, borrow, or steal to join them. It's going to be well worth your doing so. That's a lot of activity you're going through this year, and we're only halfway through. That seems like the perfect time for a bit of rest and reflection, the stuff you usually do at the end of the year. And why not do some pensive observations in June? Maybe you can even manage to find a vacation rental somewhere or a friend's summer place and spend an extra few days thinking about your life. In fact, let's make that an order, dog. You need to make this happen in June at whatever scale you can reasonably manage. If you've got the means to get to a cottage, go for it. But if money is tight or you can't get away from a job, commit to spending one weekend in vacation mode. Pretend you're a world-renowned poet off to a remote East Coast location for a bit of inspiration. It doesn't matter if you're just taking the day off of work and spending the afternoon sitting in your garage drinking beer and reading. That's perfect and all that you need. All you need to do is pretend you're that MacArthur Fellowship-winning poet, idling away your time, watching people come and go. And while you're doing that, you're going to do a bit of navel-gazing and think about your life, where it's been, and where it's going. If you really want to complete the picture, do some writing on this subject while you're sitting there. It doesn't have to be poetry, but feel free if the moment seizes you. It could just be writing in a journal or keeping a list of what you discover. Don't feel the need to put anything together in an organized fashion. Record your thoughts as they float by and move on. Luckily, August and early autumn have some benevolent surprises for you, dog. This period of time could be called the luckiest point in the year for you. While we would never advocate gambling or betting of any kind, it might not be such a bad idea to have a brief trip to the casino or pick up a lottery ticket during this time. You have a universe of good luck behind you for a month, so why not take a little bit of advantage of it? Obviously, don't press your luck by being reckless or completely throwing caution to the wind, but if there's been anything that's felt like a risky maneuver for you to engage in that could have great rewards, consider sticking your neck out a bit. Have you been putting off asking for a raise? Taking a relationship to another level, whether forward or out? Maybe thinking about a move to somewhere else to try to start your life anew? By all means, weigh your options and be smart about things, but if you've been on the fence about something and the only thing stopping you is where fate's will land, then this is a good time to jump. By the end of the 2021 year, You'll have covered a lot of territory, proving that it has indeed very much been a dog's year. Make plans for what you want to accomplish in the next year and see what you have to do to make those things happen. This could mean getting yourself signed up for a community college class or setting aside a bit of extra money. December is going to be your pre-2022 time, so set time for preparing for that. It's going to be even more challenging for you, dog, so you'll want to have your ducks in a row. You're a noble beast, dog, and we all thank you for your service. 2021 will be the year where you'll see your accomplishments fully and maybe, just maybe, see what a good boy you are. Every challenge you encounter will be an opportunity to teach you a great many things if, and only if, you take the time to listen to what they offer. There's a universe out there wanting to help make you a better creature. Take advantage of this and learn from what they're offering. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand. It's been a year of chaos and turmoil in 2020. The world is completely altered and you, pig, have been battered about by the forces of the universe more so than any other animal. You deserve a medal for what you've been through and the sacrifices that you've made. Good on you, pig. So where do you go from here? The easy answer is also the most accurate: you're going straight to the top, baby. Read on. January will most likely find you pausing to catch your breath for a moment. But only do so for a moment. Life is about to put you on a very active roller coaster, and the starting point is January 1st. The whole month is going to be an upward climb for you in many areas, pig. Your job, your relationships, your issues with money, even transportation and issues with traveling are going to tax you in increasing amounts over this month. Nothing terrible, but you're going to feel your burden get heavier and heavier. There's a reason for this burden. 2021 is, as you know, the year of the white metal ox. You get one guess as to who is carrying that ox on their back all year. That's right, pig. You have some extra animal baggage that you're lugging around this year, but don't think of it as a burden. The ox chooses who gets to transport him very carefully. You see, in the protocol of the stars, the honor of carrying the ox through the year is a very high one indeed. This is because the creature who can do this proves to the planets that they are indeed a strong and worthy being, worth sitting with the gods. While that extra weight may feel like a burden this year, and don't blame the ox for being heavy. He's been stress eating through all of 2020, remember that it is an honor and a privilege to be his transport. So after the hill climbing of January with that great celestial ox on your back, February is the other side of the roller coaster. It's going to be a fast-moving downward slope that might scare the hell out of you, but will also provide great thrills when it's over. Maybe you'll even get one of the photographs from when it's plummeting down and your hair is blown behind you. It's going to be wild, pig. You're going to feel all sorts of activity in every area of your life. Good thing it's the shortest month of the year. Everyone around you is going to be screaming and you might not be sure if it's out of joy or fear. They might not know either. That's okay. No one is in serious danger, but you will have people around you who are a bit afraid. This is where your empathetic skills are going to come into play, pig. When the world is going completely mad, make sure you offer up a shoulder of support for those around you who are worried. You don't have to have all the answers, or any answers, really. You just need to be there and be a listening ear. April is going to bring some potential health and wellness issues that you'll want to address immediately. Sorry to alarm you, pig, and truth be told, they're nothing that terribly dire. But the fact is, you're not getting any younger. Turns out, none of us are. If you haven't recently, get yourself to the doctor for your regular checkup. And take any sort of twinge, pain, cramp, or twist seriously and ask them about it. This is the month for you to be extra vigilant in that department. You've got a lot of living ahead of you, so get the vehicle tuned up. By May and into early June, you're going to have some very interesting encounters that will shape the direction of your life for a long, long time. Have you ever met someone who, from the first minute they spoke, you got the sense that they were just not from the same world as you at all? Whatever it is about the way they carry themselves, the way they speak, the tone in their voice, They were just clearly from a different pool of people than the ones you normally associate with. You are going to have a similar encounter at some point during this time. This person will come out of nowhere, perhaps as an associate of a friend of yours or someone related to your job. When they appear, it truly is going to feel like the clouds part and the sun is shining just on them. This is going to be a very special person in your life, Pig. Listen to what they have to say, answer any questions that they have, and trust that any advice they have for you is probably a good idea and will lead you to great things. Has there ever been a gift you've gotten that has completely changed and revolutionized your life? We're talking about something like getting an electric guitar for your birthday, something that you would point to in your biography and say, "That was the day in which everything changed for me." Maybe it was something material like a guitar, or maybe it was a celebration or just some extra spirit from someone you care about. Whatever form it took, it changed your life so that there was a before and an after. Well, Pig, we want you to keep your eyes open for a similar force coming your way in July. It doesn't matter if you celebrate your birthday in July or not. You're going to get something gift-like that you're not expecting, an honest-to-God surprise. Look for this around the second week of July or so. We would be overstating it to say it'll totally change your life, but there will be a very clear difference between before you get it and after. Don't worry, its effects are all positive, but you might be somewhat shocked at the transformation. Keep track of what you notice that's changed. You're going to want to tell the story later on in life. By autumn, you're going to have some strong thoughts about a new direction for your career, and we encourage that strongly. It's hard to say what it is, perhaps the arc of the dragon across the sky during September, but there are strong forces around employment at this time, all saying that if you think it's time to move, then it is. This is a great pivotal moment for you, which only means that you have a great opportunity to break into something new if, and we strongly emphasize the if, you have an interest in doing so. If your current job situation is working out well for you and you're happy to stay put, by all means, do. But if there's the slightest desire to find greener pastures, if there's an itchiness to move on to somewhere else, if you just want to have a big dramatic quitting scene, then that's your time. As for what you're moving to, that's of course up to you, but we have some suggestions. You've been a hard one to pin down in the past, Pig. You're a creative creature, but you also relish the structure that comes with a banker's job. It's been hard for you to find the right balance of those things in a way that would make you happy. You've made lots of attempts at it, of course, with varying levels of success. You need to think about what's worked and what hasn't. But keep your eyes on that target, something that will support the wild, Dionysian part of you and your flights of fancy, but also give you the structure and order that helps you thrive and sleep at night. Don't worry too much about the paycheck just yet. That will come with time. Trust that such a job is out there and that you're perfect for it. Keep a good sharp look for it around the end of September or so, and if nothing makes itself known, cast your geographic net wider. It might be time for you to make a move. The top of the heap is a good place for you, Pig. You're going to spend 2021 making that climb and getting to the spot that you deserve. And you do deserve it, whether you completely believe that or not. That process of convincing you of this fact is probably going to be harder than the actual climb. That's a good challenge to conquer and one that you're up to. And after this year, you may decide that the top of the heap isn't your thing anymore, and that's okay. What's most important is that you allow yourself that success. Trust that you are the top pig you think you are. Thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumb up if you liked the video. Subscribe our YouTube channel not to miss the next video horoscope. Visit our website, go to horoscope.com, where you can find actual horoscope for today. Download our apps from Google Play and App Store to have your daily horoscope always on hand.